Welcome to Playgroup Online. This is our third week together, and we're so happy that you can join us. This week we're looking at Easter and various different things to do with Easter. We're going to sing 3 songs together this morning, and our first one is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So get your star fingers ready, and here we go. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now we're going to do Incy Wincy Spider. And there's 2 ways you can do your fingers with this one. If you want to try and do little finger to thumb, and then it walks up your fingers like this, or you might just want to climb the spider up your arm, which is our water spout. So you choose. I'll do it twice, one each way. Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed poor Incy out. Out came the sunshine and dried up all the rain. So Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the spout again. Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed poor Incy out. Out came the sunshine and dried up all the rain. So Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the spout again. And the last song we're going to sing together is one especially for Easter. And it's called He Died Upon the Cross. So let's sing that one together. It has actions, and follow along with me. He died upon the cross. He died upon the cross. He died upon the cross. For me, just for me. One day when I was lost, He died upon the cross. He died upon the cross. For me, just for me. He laid him in the grave. They laid him in the grave. They laid him in the grave. For me, just for me. One day when I was lost, He died upon the cross. He died upon the cross. For me, just for me. He rose up from the dead. He rose up from the dead. He rose up from the dead. For me, just for me. One day when I was lost, He died upon the cross. He died upon the cross. For me, just for me. He's coming back again. He's coming back again. He's coming back again. For me, just for me. One day when I was lost, He died upon the cross. He died upon the cross. For me, just for me.
Hi everyone, Becky's asked me to read today's story, and there's a reason for that. The story's called What Would Jesus Drive? And it's written by yours truly with illustrations by Graham Preston. It's a Palm Sunday story in the Car Park Parable series. As the cars drove into the car park at Westbrook this week, they noticed all their owners were wearing funny gowns and carrying palm branches into the church. Lin Sue was fascinated. "What is going on, Mr. T?" All the other cars leaned in to hear old Mr. T's answer. "Today is special, Tony. Today is special. Today we celebrate the morning Jesus rode into Jerusalem." Well, you could almost hear Muscles the motorcycle's muffler drop. Jesus rode into Jerusalem? So there were motorbikes back then. No, said old Mr. T. Jesus didn't ride a vehicle into Jerusalem. He rode a... But before Mr. T could finish, Impossible Izzy had a bright idea. "I know. Why don't we all guess what type of car Jesus would have driven into Jerusalem if there had been cars? Then, Mr. T, you can tell us who has the best guess." The cars roared their engines with delight. Even old Mr. T had a twinkle in his headlight. What an intriguing idea. Who is going first? What would Jesus drive? "This is too easy," said luxurious Lucy. "Jesus was a very important person. He would have ridden in the back of a luxury car without question." Muscles the motorcycle didn't agree. "No way! Jesus was a rebel. He would have ridden a cool motorcycle while wearing black leathers." Hot-headed Harry laughed and laughed. "Jesus is a king. There's no other car for him than the king of cars, the Ute." Frida the family car spoke gently. Jesus was a person of the people who had many followers. Surely he would have come in a bus with all his friends. Impossible Izzy interrupted that thought. "Not even close, Frida. Jesus was a revolutionary world shaker. He would have come into Jerusalem on a tank." "I think Jesus would have needed a big truck," said Trevor Truck. "He was a teacher. With a truck, he could stand on the back and teach the crowd." Frida had another idea. Jesus was always making people better. Perhaps he would have ridden in an ambulance. "I like to think Jesus cared about the world," said Lin Sue. "So he would have had an electric car." That comment got a few other cars' motors running hot. But old Mr. T calmed them down. "What about you, Tony? You haven't shared an idea." Tony Tractor paused. "At first I was going to say a tractor, but when I heard all the other ideas I thought mine sounded silly. Maybe I only wanted a tractor because that's what I am. So I'm not sure what Jesus drove into Jerusalem." Tony's comment made everyone stop and think about their own ideas. "Well put," said old Mr. T, who stopped to ponder for a moment. "It seems to me that if Jesus had been able to use a car, he would have driven into Jerusalem on a forklift." "A forklift!" exclaimed Izzy. "No way!" The other cars agreed. "I even think a tank is a better idea," said Muscles, and the cars began to argue over their suggestions. But one quiet voice asked, "Why?" No one heard. The voice became louder. "Why?" Finally, the voice became a horn blast. "Why?" Everyone stopped talking. "Why a forklift?" asked Lin Sue. The cars were quiet for old Mr. T's response. "All your ideas were good, and each one tells us something about Jesus," he said. "But Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey, an animal that does hard work. Because in the end, Jesus came to do the hard work of making us friends with God." The cars stopped in their tracks. They all realised that old Mr. T was right. Next week they would remember Easter. They all knew the hard work that Jesus did at Easter. The end.
Our craft for playgroup this week comes from my house. I'm doing it at my place. Now, if you came this week to pick up pies, last week I should say, you would have also been given a paper bag, which actually has the materials in it for this week's craft. So there's, if you empty it all out, there should be 4 pieces. An egg shape, a yellow piece, an orange piece, and a split pin. Because I think you can probably work out, this is what we're actually going to be making, and I'll have a link to this online, so if you wanted to cut more of them out yourself, this is the pattern for it. So we're making a chick in an egg. So as you can see on the pattern, it has a zigzag line across it. Now you could draw that zigzag line across, or just about 2/3 of the way up from the bottom, just cut a zigzag shape across your egg, so that it's in 2 parts like that. All right, so what we're doing is get the yellow piece, and I need to grab some glue. Glue is the other thing you will need. Back again with the glue stick. So we're going to glue. This is going to be the chick, and it's going to go behind the bigger half of the egg. So we just need a little bit of glue, maybe along the bottom. And we stick our chick there. And this is the beak, so just a bit of glue on the back of the beak. Stick our beak on. And that's where you find a marker pen and just draw some eyes on our chick. There's our chick in the egg. And then this is what the split pin's for. So we're going to just place 1/2 as close over the top as we can so that it moves like this. Our skewer, and I'm just pushing a hole. That's where you put your split pin through, turn it over, open the split pin out, and now our egg cracks open and reveals our chick. If you wanted to decorate your egg, because the paper on Easter eggs has decorations, you might want to draw some pretty shapes on it. I'm just doing some flowers. And there is our chick in the egg craft. Oops. Re-glue when it comes off. For an extra for playgroup today, I'm going to show you how to make Play-Doh at home so that you can get in and do some fun stuff at your house. Here are the ingredients that we need to make Play-Doh. So it's flour, it can be plain flour or self-raising, it really doesn't matter. Food colouring, cream of tartar. Now if you don't have that in your house, put it on your shopping list for this week, for that one time you're allowed out to the shops. Oil, salt, and then just your measuring things. Okay, this is how you make it. I'm old school, I still make it in a saucepan. You can do it in the microwave, but I'm going to do the saucepan method. Okay, first of all, you need 1 cup of flour. Now this is a 1/4 cup measure, so you'll need 4 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You could just use a cup measure. You also need a 1/4 of a cup of salt. Again, if you don't have a lot of salt, that's the other thing, another thing you can put on your shopping list. It's really cheap. 1/4 of a cup of salt. That actually preserves it, makes it last longer. All right, oil. You need 1 teaspoon of oil. Oops, a bit much, but that's all right. Then you need 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. So you just put everything into the saucepan. And last, you need 1 cup of water. Now I use warm water straight out of the tap. If you wanted to make white Play-Doh, you just add it now and make your Play-Doh. If you want to colour, you just add, I find this the easiest part. It's easier to add your colouring to the water. Stir it. And then you just pour it straight into your saucepan. I just stir it to just mix all the flour in. It's a bit lumpy, but it's all right. So on the stovetop, now it actually does thicken quite quickly once it heats up. So now it's just a matter of stirring it. And if you do it in the stovetop, on the stovetop, it will stick. I'll tell you that now. It will stick very easily, so you've got to keep it moving. Okay, it's only been going for a couple of minutes. You can see it's already starting to thicken. If you look in there, you can see and it will burn if you're not careful. So this is where you just got to keep it moving. Nearly there. And that will just about do for the stovetop, so turn it on. Just like you're making dough, just put a bit of flour on the bench, tip it out, and do your best at scraping out the bowl, because as you see, it will stick. And it's really hot as well, so just be careful with this part on your fingers. It's still fairly warm. You could leave it for a few minutes just to cool down a bit, but now it's just like making bread, just kneading it and burning your hands. Okay, I kneaded the Play-Doh for about a minute, made my hands red from the heat. But that is it finished, and you can play with it. Just let it cool down a bit before you give it to your kids to play with. It will store in a, just make sure you put it in an airtight container. It doesn't have to be in the fridge, but it will last longer if kept in the fridge. Okay, I'm going to do all that again to make a second colour. Now that you have your 2 colours of Play-Doh, or however many, you can do it with 1, we're going to make some hot cross buns. Now, what a hot cross bun is just a fruit bun or a plain bun, so we could make some out of Play-Doh. So just grab a bit of Play-Doh, handful, and practice rolling it in your hands, just like that, rolling, and then you can make lots of different ones. Rolling, 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 and you might even have a little tray that you could put them on, pretending that we're like a baker, baking our buns. You may notice that our buns are all plain. There is nothing on the top of them. But for a hot cross bun, what we put on the top of them is a cross. So you get a little bit of Play-Doh and you make like a snake out of it. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Now mine's going to be too long, but then you break it in half and you put it on top of your bun. That's half of it. And the other half of it goes this way to make a cross. There we have our hot cross buns. And you think, well, why do they have a cross on them? They have a cross on them because in the Christian tradition, this cross represents the cross of Jesus. Now, at Easter time, we remember that Jesus died on a cross, but then rose again. So that's where the tradition of hot cross buns comes from. But we've just made pretend ones. So we pretend to put them in the oven, cooking. And then when we get them out, we can pretend to eat them. Just like Cookie Monster. So there are our hot cross buns.